If you enjoyed the video, make sure you subscribe and turn notifications on so you don't miss a video in the future. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Friday the 13th the game video. You may remember a while back the announcement of legendary perks. These are perks coming in the next update that, just like regular perks, have a negative and positive stat, but also come with an extra bonus stat to even further better your counselor. Today, Daniel Nixon gave us a little more details on these legendary perks, sharing exactly which bonus stat comes with each perk, as well as its percentage range. Now we're going to go ahead and go through all these now, but we'll do so 5 at a time and break down what we see as we go. First of all, Adrenaline Rush, which gives you a stamina boost upon breaking out of Jason's grip, will come with a stamina boost anywhere between 1 and 3%. Aquanaut, which increases your swim speed, will now come with an increased chance of avoiding being sensed while swimming, anywhere between 2 and 5%. Controlled Breathing, which decreases your fear while hiding, will now help with your overall fear reduction, between 1 and 3%. Easy Listening, which helps you regain stamina near a radio, will now come with a 1 to 3% increase in overall stamina. And Escape Artist, which helps you break out of Jason's grab quicker, will now give you a 1 to 3% increase in avoiding being sensed. I would say out of these 5, Adrenaline Rush and Controlled Breathing will prove to be the most beneficial, as they are further increasing a stat that the perk already helps with. Adrenaline Rush could end up being extremely useful for stamina weak characters that have high composure, like that of Jenny and Mitch. Moving on to the next 5, we have Evasion, which increases your dodge speed, will now also come with a 1 to 3% increase in sense avoidance. Firecracker, which increases your firecracker radius, as well as lets you start with a set of firecrackers, will come with a bonus stat of melee attack speed, anywhere between 2 to 5%. Friendship, which increases damage per nearby teammate, will come with an overall XP gain between 1 and 3%. Grease Monkey, which increases a car startup time, will now come with a car speed increase between 2 and 5%. And Grinder, which increases your overall XP gained, will now come with a 1 to 3% fear reduction. Now out of these 5, Grease Monkey shines the most to me. It has proven to be extremely effective already for getting the car started, especially with counselors with a lot of luck. Now with the car speed increase added on top of that, we may see an increase in overall car escapes. Now the next 5, starting with Heavy Hitter, which increases your stun time with a bat, will also come with an overall weapon damage increase ranging between 1 and 3%. Heavy Mover, which increases your door barricading speed, will also come with a 1 to 3% increase in weapon damage. Heavy Sleeper, which increases your intense sense avoidance, will come with a decrease in sprint noise, anywhere between 2 and 5%. Homebody, which increases your house sense avoidance, will come with a 1 to 3% increase in first aid healing. And Hypochondriac, which increases overall healing, will increase police response time between 1 and 3%. So out of these 5, Heavy Hitter definitely shines the most to me. Counselors already tend to be quite dominant with Heavy Hitter and baseball bats. Combine that with even more weapon damage, this could prove to be quite powerful. I can already see all the Chads running this perk in the near future. Now the next 5, starting with Ice Cold, which decreases your fear from dead bodies, will now come with a fear reduction between 1 and 3%. Leadfoot, which increases your overall car speed, will now decrease your car start speed between 2 and 5%. Level-Headed, which increases your ability to avoid being sensed, will now increase your overall fear reduction from 1 to 3%. Lightfoot, which decreases the noise you make while sprinting, will come with less fear from the dark, between 2 and 5%. Lone Wolf, which decreases your fear when you are alone, will now give you the ability to break out of Jason's grab easier, anywhere between 2 and 5%. Now out of these 5, like Grease Monkey, I see Leadfoot being very effective. Having increased car speed and start time can be an incredibly deadly weapon when trying to escape. Now the next 5, starting with Low Profile, which increases your sense avoidance, will also increase your crouching stamina regeneration, anywhere between 1 and 3%. Man-at-Arms, which increases your weapon durability, will now increase your weapon damage between 1 and 3%. Marathon, which increases your overall stamina, will now increase your swim speed between 2 and 5%. Medic, which increases your overall healing, will now come with a repair speed increase of 2 to 5%. And Motorboating, which increases your boat speed, will now increase your swim speed between 2 and 5%. Now out of these 5, I'd say Man-at-Arms and Medic will be the most beneficial. Man-at-Arms is great for low luck characters, and to toss on some weapon damage as well may be great for things like killing Jason. Medic is pretty self-explanatory. Staying alive and repairing things is pretty ideal for escaping. Now the next 5, starting with My Dad's a Cop, which decreases cop response time, will also increase your weapon damage as Tommy Jarvis between 2 and 5%. Nerves of Steel, which decreases your fear and removes the loss of the minimap, will now come with less fear from dead bodies between 2 and 5%. Night Owl, which decreases your fear from the dark, will now come with less fear when indoors between 2 and 5%. Potent Ranger, which increases your damage as Tommy Jarvis, will now come with stumble avoidance anywhere between 1 and 3%. And then Preparedness, which decreases your overall fear, will now come with an increase in crouch speed between 1 and 3%. Now, out of these 5, my go-to would be Nerves of Steel. Not losing your minimap is already a great thing, and tossing in the decreased fear of dead bodies could prove to be a pretty great way of avoiding Jason's sense. Now the next 5, starting with Psychic, which increases your voice range, will now come with hiding spot fear reduction between 2 and 5%. Pyro, which increases your flare spot time, will now increase your firecracker stun radius between 2 and 5%. Quiet Swimmer, which increases your chance of being avoided while swimming, now comes with an increased swim speed between 2 and 5%. Restful, which gives you a boost in stamina regeneration, will now give you stamina boost when you break free from Jason's grab between 2 and 5%. Scout, which helps with your ability to escape traps, will now reduce your sprint noise between 1 and 3%. Now out of these 5, none of them are really perks I would run, however if I had to pick I would use Restful. Regaining stamina quickly can be key to an escape from Jason. Adding an extra boost upon breaking out of Jason's grab may just be necessary for things like police escapes. Now the next 5, starting with Slugger, which increases your damage and lets you start with a baseball bat, will increase your melee attack speed between 1 and 3%. Sneaky, which increases your window speed, will now come with a stumble reduction between 1 and 3%. Spatial Awareness, which decreases your chance of stumbling, will now increase your distance you can hear other players between 2 and 5%. Speed Demon, which increases your solo vehicle speed, will now increase your sprint speed between 1 and 3%. And Sucker Punch, which increases your melee stun chances, will now increase your melee damage overall between 1 and 3%. Now out of these 5, Slugger and Sucker Punch both seem to be great. Slugger especially, starting with a baseball bat and having that increased damage is already great. Now increase your attack speed, and you can be pretty dominant. This is another one I expect to see on all upcoming chats. Now the last 5. Starting with Swift Attacker, which increases your attack speed overall, will now increase your stun time between 1 and 3%. Teamwork, which decreases your fear per nearby teammate, will now decrease police response time between 1 and 3%. Thick Skin, which decreases damage taken, will now give you the ability to escape from traps quicker between 2 and 5%. Thrasher, which is an increase in axe damage, will now reduce weapon damage taken between 1 and 3%. And Tinker, which increases your repair speed, will now decrease your boat start time between 2 and 5%. Now out of these 5, I'm definitely liking Swift Attacker. It's already a great perk and extremely useful for combat, and adding increased Jason stun time is always very helpful. That perk has a pretty great combo with it. Well, that's all the perks. I know that was a lot to go through, but let me know what you guys think. Which legendary perk are you most excited about? Let us know in the comments below, but that is going to wrap today's video. If you enjoyed, make sure you drop a like and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this one. And of course, as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
You can bring him back, you know. There's always a way. Bring my baby back. You should have been watching him.